Hello, everybody. Good evening. Hi, Jordan. Oh, thank you for sharing. That's really nice. Hello, everybody. Good evening. So
Hi,
I'm just
Jordan.
okay. We are well and truly live. Welcome to another episode of the Atomic Self-Love Project on Spiritual Events Directory. You may also be viewing this live video on a different Facebook platform called Grace Harris, author and transformational coach. So I am currently watching this myself on Spiritual Events Directory. So if you're commenting on another page, which is the Grace Harris Transformational Coach, I might not necessarily see that. I urge you to jump on the Spiritual Events Directory page, as everybody seems to be here. So I'm just going to say hello to some early birds. We've got Jordan, and Jordan's actually shared that. We've got Melissa, we've got Julia, and Marin, and Danny. So how is everybody tonight? We are going to tonight really talk about becoming fearless. And I am in tonight, I'm kind of like celebrating International Women's Day. I think officially tomorrow is International Women's Day, but in honor of that, I wanted to, for those of you who have questions about, hi Samantha, about, how do you become fearless, or if you want to talk a little bit about the fears that you have. And so this can be a fear in any area of your life, in your relationship, in your finances, in your career, in your business, in your personal growth, in your spiritual growth, and in your health. Like there are things around those areas of your life that you might have been contemplating, not sure about. You feel a little bit of unease inside of you. So we're going to talk about that. But before we do, I wanted to get a little insight about being fearless itself. So for those of you, I see, so Jordan says she's scared of losing my boyfriend. So we're going to go into that. I'm actually gonna use two different decks tonight. So I'm going to use my favorite deck, which is Divine Femininity, and I'm going to use another one, and I'll tell you about that other one in a second, and why I'm choosing to use that as well tonight in celebration of fearlessness and International Women's Day. So why do I choose fearlessness? For those of you who are here for the first time on the Atomic Self-Love Project, the reason that this project has actually come to life and has been birthed is because of my own experiences in being fearful and having to learn how to be fearless in a way that I'm not sacrificing my personal health. I'm not sacrificing any type of friendship, any type of relationship, because sometimes I found in my experiences that we can be so fearless that sometimes we repel people from our fearlessness. That's one way to be fearless. There are several ways to be fearless. So I'm going to give you a very quick context of who I am. So Decoli is here for the first time. Wow, I love your name, Decoli Sabo Emanuela. So let me know where you guys are hailing from. I hail from on the border of New South Wales and Queensland. I love living here, been here over 20 years. In Australia, if you are hailing from a different country, tell us where you are from. So in 2020, for about 23 months, I spent about almost 2 years writing a book that's well, essentially fearless, because it is the very first book that's ever been written, a true story that's ever been written about the epidemic of abandonment in the Philippines. So as we speak today, there are about 2 million abandoned children in the Philippines alone, and I don't know the number worldwide. But most of these abandoned children's fates is largely because their parents feel that they don't have the capacity to raise those kids. And so they just choose and make a decision to either give them away or just abandon them altogether. However, having said that, there are a fraction of abandoned children that have come from middle-class families who can afford to raise children, to look after children. But for some reason, the guardians, the parents, the caretakers of these children have made a decision to to release the responsibilities to the child. Now I belong to that fraction. When my parents made a decision to leave me in a relative's house without telling me what was happening to me. And because of that, I've been exposed to, like many of you here, the reason that you are in spiritual events directory is because you are seeking for your highest truth. You are seeking for that deeper connection to life, that deeper meaning of self acceptance, because you've been through significant experiences. And that's what, hi Samantha, you're from Melbourne, Lake Macquarie, Sharon. So I've been exposed to experiences like a lot of neglect, different types of abuse, emotional, physical, sexual, psychological, a lot of psychological. And so like a lot of women that I speak to, especially, women that are really going for life, trying to do their best, is that I was able to lead a seemingly normal life. I could actually do anything I wanted to put my mind to and became successful. But deep inside of me, there was a lot of fear. And in this experience of being fearful, which manifested into mostly anger, I was like the anger queen for a long time. So in my experience of a lot of being fearful, I've had to learn the different stages of becoming fearless, and I've had to immerse into the experience of what type of fearless do I want to become, right? So there is a type of fearless that is resilient fearless, and there is a deeper level of being fearless when you just surrender. When you accept that there really is nothing much in the world that you can control except how you are and how you be. And that's that surrender type of fearlessness that I just love. But what I found is this, and in many women that I speak to, and also men, before you can find a level of fearlessness where you're just in the surrender, you know that you trust the divine, you trust yourself, you've got love for yourself, you know you got it, whatever comes. Before you go into the surrender level of fearlessness, first you go into a very egoic level of fearlessness, which is a lot of showing resilience, a lot of showing how you're going to overcome adversity, and just using your mind, your skills, your profession, your business, your verbal ability, your ability to negotiate. You just and it's great. It's great. Like moms, especially, moms who are my moms here, give me a yeah, a hand up. I'm a mom myself, like women who have been through relationship. Nicole is saying about, she's been in so much pain lately. Jordan is from Colorado. Well, what time is it for you, Jordan? So well done for being up. I think it's very early for you. But when you're a woman, juggling so many things, you've got family, you've got kids, or if you don't have kids, you've got other members of the family that look up to you, your nieces, your nephews, you've got neighbors that you're helping, you're volunteering, you've got a job, you've got a boss, you have so many things that you juggle, and men too. And so we develop a fearlessness that's really based on resilience. And so tonight, the reason that I'm choosing to use a couple of decks of cards, when we go deep into your energy and how we can explore the possibility of becoming fearless to the level of surrender. So the reason that I'm using two decks of cards, this card is about divine feminine, and it's about different types of love that you can access inside of you, and different angles of how you can interpret the love that you are feeling, or interpret the love that you already have inside of you, that most of the time we forget that we have it. It's your deeper reserves of love, self-love, love for others, compassion. So I want to use that, but I also want to use another deck to go with that, which is, this is just a deck from a woman called Gabrielle Bernstein. And Jordan, you're from America. You are probably very, very familiar with Gabrielle Bernstein, or Gabby Bernstein. And what the reason I want to use this is because she's so relatable in a way that she's alive. She's actually with us today. These the the divine feminine women in this other deck, they are mostly, you know, saints and dakinis and yoginis that have come in different times before us. So we're going to go deep into a very spiritual type of self-love and love per se, but also we're going to get some wisdom from a woman who's been through so many things that we can relate to. Gabby Bernstein is someone who had overcome cocaine addiction, overcome relationship problems, overcome, you know, business. So her resilience is tested and proven. And any type of fearlessness is beautiful fearlessness, but there's gonna be, you see the contrast. I want to show you the contrast between resilient fearlessness and surrender type of fearlessness. And that's been my journey. That's been my journey. I've had to be resilient, but in order for me to access my highest truth, in order for me to enjoy, you know, the potential of my higher self, I have to surrender all the time. Every day I have to say it. I surrender to all resistance to my calling. I surrender to all resistance to my calling, and it's a form of fearlessness that I want to embrace, which I embrace every day. So we're going to get started without further ado. I'm going to read a few messages here before I do start the reading. And so we've got Jordan. Jordan's scared of losing her boyfriend. So we've got also Melissa high-fiving me. Jordan is at 1:24 a.m. Saturday morning time zone. Whoa. And she says she's a mom. Yeah. You lost your Bob. I feel you. Okay. Sarah, if drawn to me, Sarah feels that she's met her twin flame. Okay, so there's a bit of a dysfunction in the dynamic because you feel, Sarah, that you are the runner and he was the chaser. Okay, so, and the actual dysfunction is now stopped. You feel, and you want to know if there might be a union soon. Okay, interesting. So, and you feel that unconditional love is a lesson that you might have learned from that. You feel that. Melissa agrees about Gabby being amazing, and you're reading her book right now. Stephanie is having a lot of trouble meeting someone. Single mom of 2 kids. Okay, so let's get started with Jordan. So Jordan, I'm just going to think about you in Colorado, 1:30 in the morning. So, so I feel that you are sharing a message where you are connected to your baby, and we all are, whether they were born in this earth or they're not born in this earth for some reason. And now the fear that are coming up, one of the fears that's coming up from that loss is the fear of also losing the father of that child. Correct me if I'm wrong, but this is what I'm feeling from you. Is the boyfriend the father of your baby that didn't get born in on earth as he or she should have been to be with you? So just also please remember, I am a little bit behind. I'm probably about 5 or 6 seconds behind. So I'm reading messages that have been like there for like 3-5 minutes ago. Okay, so in terms of practicing divine love that you have, something that I can share with you tonight is Diana. Wow. Diana, Queen of the Wilderness. The language of the natural world is the frequency of love. This is my mother tongue. So Jordan, this is so interesting that I've picked up Diana for you. So if you is for those who are familiar with um, Princess Diana, who was married to Prince Charles. One of the most famous quotes that was given by one of our best friends, which was Elton John, is that the irony about the death of Princess Diana is that she was actually named after a huntress, which is Diana, but she ended up to be the most hunted person in the world. And that's her there. She is one with nature. And so we're going to go back into that. I'm just going to pull a card from Gabby Bernstein for you as well, the resilient type of fearless. So the Diana is the goddess, the surrender type of fearless, and the resilient type of fearless, so that you can navigate around the fear that you have, stemming from the loss of your baby, but now you're fearing the loss, another loss, which is the man in your life, whether that is the father of your baby. I'm not quite sure yet. I need confirmation from that from you, but there's a sense of fear of loss there. Okay, so for your resilient card, resilient fearless card, it's my vibes speak louder than my words. And remember, your divine feminine surrender kind of fearlessness is Diana, the queen of the wilderness. So Diana is all about going back to nature, and it's making you, it's making you realize that the beauty of life is right outside your doorstep. And when you reconnect with that beauty of life, everything is there that's inside of you. So that love that you have for the baby that wasn't quite born in this time in this earth, it's an energetic thing. That love can be transmuted from a fear-based love to a fearless, enjoyable, beautiful love. The fact is that physical death is just physical death. It's not exactly the end, because everything is energy. And the energy, the feeling that you have now grieving for the loss of your baby, it's because the love that it created inside of you remained. And so you have the choice, Jordan, to transmute that love from a fear-based, snowballing kind of fear into, I'm going to lose my man as well as I have lost my child. You can transmute that into, by using nature, into a fearless kind of love, so that your vibes, your resilient vibes are going to scream unconditional love and unconditional beauty inside of you. When you learn to appreciate what's around you, when you learn to appreciate that your man is showing up for you in the best way that he can, in spite of all the surrounding stressors and pressures in your life that you share with him, he's showing up for you. We must remember that everybody in this lifetime, we do our best. Everybody agree with that. I know, even though sometimes, I might have shortcomings for my own family, I might be short sometimes, I might raise my voice. I did my best to express my love. And my job when I do something that I regret is that my main job is, number one, to forgive myself first, and to remember that I'm always acting out of love, that I always want to create love. And Jordan, that's inside of you. That's exactly the reason why you're up at 1:30 in the morning, talking to people across the globe, like asking me this question, thinking about your man, thinking about your baby. It's because there's love there that's wanting, waiting to be transmuted into fearless type of love, into divine type of love. And the message is that this love starts from within. It's got to be love from us, within us. And the reason that we use these oracle cards is so we can actually latch on to something tangible and specific that we can use, so we can help transmute that love into fearless love. And in this case, it's telling you to go out in nature, reconnect. I heard Colorado is, right now you're in winter season, so it won't be too hot. Go for a walk. Maybe try going for a walk without your shoes. When you walk bare feet and you reconnect your actual body, physical body, with the earth, it just regenerates you in ways that you can't see, in ways that no one's ever going to measure for you. But you will feel that if you do that often enough. And I would recommend, in this difficult time for you, do it every day. Do it every day, so that your vibe can speak louder than your words, and it becomes a fearless vibe. And I'm thinking of you. And I did walk bare feet myself today, just before the show, went to the beach, reminding myself that I am connected. I am connected to the nature. That's where I really came from. And that way you connect with your baby as well. So I hope that's given you some insight tonight. And I am thinking of you, and my love, my heart goes out to you, Jordan. So let me see. So you're saying you're scared because he's ghosting you, but you don't know if it's because he's scared of his mom. You know, I've just learned about the term ghosting, literally, sorry, about 5 days ago. I don't know how I picked it up, but it's from one of the groups that I'm in on Facebook, and someone wrote about ghosting, and I Googled it, and I learned that it is when someone is not, you know, is not responding to you, uh, and really just doing a disappearing act. So let it go. It's the surrender type of fearlessness. Like if you heard of the saying, you know, if they come back to you, they were yours to begin with, and if they don't, they never were. They were just there to give you a lesson, to show you a lesson, and that lesson is for you now to take and look at it and move forward with it, because there's always, you will learn from this experience. And if he's ghosting you, that's where he is right now. He's doing his best, and just surrender with love. I encourage you not to just to detach. I mean, I encourage you not to form judgments about his ghosting, judgments about what his relationship is with his mother, or his mother's relationship to you. Just, that's really not something that you can control. As I was saying earlier here, two types of fearlessness is resilient fearless and surrender fearless. This is a time for you. It's calling you to surrender and to become fearless that way, because life is just unfolding. Every difficult experience is a doorway, a portal to a beautiful life, if you choose to see it that way. And so yeah, so I'm going to move on. Yeah, I hope that's given you some insight. I'm going to scroll back up. Like I said, I'm about 7 seconds behind. And so now let's go to Sarah K. Sarah's met her twin. And from memory, I read this a minute ago, and she said that she feels that she's learned unconditional love from this, and she's wanting to know if there is a reunion between them. Is that right, Sarah? So he was the chaser and you were running away from him. So I'm feeling a little bit of fear there as to why were you running away? Like what experiences did you have in the past that made you feel that you want to play that kind of dynamic? Uh, is it because you enjoyed the experience, or you're scared of men unconsciously, or was it something that happened earlier in a relationship that kind of got you thinking that, and then it snowballed to a dysfunction like that? I'm just going to wait for a new comment from you. So Sarah, um, I'm going to draw your card, Sarah, but if you could answer my question, but if you don't, that's okay as well. So we're going to I'm thinking about what you said, that you feel that you have learned unconditional love, because to me that's unconditional love is like the Holy Grail, right? And it starts really with unconditionally loving ourselves. And so I'm really curious as to what that felt like for you, and how did it manifest in your body, and what kind of experience had unfolded for you from that unconditional love. So from your surrender fearlessness, from your divine self-love card, Hestia, the goddess of sanctuary. No matter where I am home. The most sacred sanctuary is found within me. The goddess of sanctuary. All right, we'll come back to that in a second, and we'll go to your resilient fearlessness, the other deck of cards, so we can see the contrast between two types of fearlessness for you, which is your surrender type of fearlessness and your resilient type of fearlessness. So Sarah's saying it's just the way it went. So that it's something that happened that's kind of like it was part of your journey together, and you're wondering, because your reunion as twin can happen now, but it might wait in a different lifetime. So I think your question might be around that. Is it something that you can look forward to in this earthly life right now, or is it something that's in store for you when you come back in a different form? All right, so let's have a look for your resilient card. And I am so drawn to these. They all look the same, but you know, sometimes I'm drawn to a particular one. And oh, so it says, I'm unapologetic about what I desire and trust that I will focus and trust that what I focus on will grow. So unapologetic kind of going for life. So I'm unapologetic about what I desire, and I trust that what I focus on, it's going to grow. And so that's your resilient type of fearlessness that's really going for it. So that's what it's telling you, is to, if you really want something, focus on it and put your energy to it, and it will grow. And it's true for everything, whether that's a negative or a positive thing. Whatever we put our energy to, we are so powerful that it actually becomes true. And so, and for your divine card, it's Hestia, it's the goddess of sanctuary. So you know, when when meeting when you met your twin flame and you had that dynamic where he was the one who was after you, and you kind of like was a little bit distancing from him. And so there was that dance of, I want to come to you, and you were, and so now you wanting to know about a reunion. So it's telling you that wherever you are perfectly where you are, because you are the sanctuary of you. So if you want to have together these two cards, what they're saying is that if it's something that you would like to do and have in this lifetime, a reunion with him, then it's something that you definitely can do and have. Something that you want to do and have, it's really something that you can do and have. You just have to remember that you are, wherever you are, that is the power sits in there. So perhaps the dynamic in the reunion it calls for a change of the dynamic where you're going to be so grounded about who you are, and really find out about your atomic self and what you're really capable of, so that you're not feeling like you have to move anywhere or do anything to distance yourself. You are there. He can see you for who you are and what you are, and let him come to you without you having to make him feel like he's chasing or running around. It's going to be like a grounded kind of reunion is what I'm feeling. So the next reunion is a grounded kind of thing. And like I said, if you want that in this lifetime, it's definitely there for you for the taking. It's just a matter of channeling the energy and getting to know. So in practical ways, and how I teach my students and my clients on how they can achieve the relationship that they really want. It's in a project that I call Atomic Self-Love Project, and how I encourage them to actually transform their relationship from relationship that's in a rut to a relationship that's lifelong and deep and meaningful, is that to create a practice. One of the things you can do is to create a practice of transformative journaling. And what that is, it sounds a little bit transformative journaling, but what it is, it's a committed journaling practice for at least 30 days. And I'd encourage you to, if you don't have one yet, Sarah Kay, get a journal, and every day, especially when you've just woken up, when you're still in that beta state of your brain frequency, when you're half asleep and half awake, and you're able to access the deeper parts of you and your deepest desires. Write down in your journal the things that you're really grateful for, and it's not so much thinking about what you're grateful for, but feeling what you're grateful for. So using your 5 senses, your sense of touch, your sense of hearing, your sense of smell, your sense of sight, what you can see, the birds, hearing nature, feeling nature. So what you're grateful for, and then affirm yourself. Do a committed affirmation exercise for 30 days. Affirm yourself. It's speaking your truth into reality. If you know yourself to be truly loving, to be truly compassionate, to be truly worthy, speak that, galvanize that into your journal, and set the intention of the reunion. So do these three things for 30 days: gratitude, intention, and affirmation on your journal, especially in the morning when you've just woken up for the first 20 minutes, and see your life transform. Have that reunion that you wish to do and to have in a grounded, new kind of grounded way. And if you want to, if you want to, if you want to talk deeper about these how you can, if any one of you want to talk about these types of ways that you can really manifest these relationships that you want to have in your life, or just talk about getting unstuck and becoming fearless. As you can see in the link above this video, I am offering only for the next 3 days, in celebration of the International Women's Day, a free breakthrough, unstuck, and become fearless call with me, coaching call, for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Australia time. And the link for those free 3 days is above this video. I hope that's giving you some insight, Sarah Kay. And now we are going to move on to the next person here, and I can see, because I am behind, I have to scroll back up. Um, so Samantha, you've asked for a reading, and you are from Melbourne. I'm just scrolling down to see if you've given me any more information about what area of your life you'd like me to focus on, because I'd love to hear actually what you would like the the reading for. And so if you want to put that on the comment below, and I'll scroll down after one reading, and I'll go back to you, because I'd love to hear what area of your life you're feeling unstuck at the moment, or what area of your life you're feeling a little bit fearful at the moment, and we can go from there. So the next one here that I have is Stephanie, I'm having a lot of trouble meeting someone. I'm a single mother of 2 children. Congratulations, well done. And one of them has special needs. Will I meet someone soon? Okay, I do get this question often about the timeline, of is he going to be here soon? And sometimes someone would say, I've been single for 7 years. Where is he? You know, like there's a thing about the timeline, when. And I do appreciate that. So Stephanie, I was a single mother for a long time. And for most of those times, I was in fear. I spent majority, probably 80% of that single motherhood, always feeling like I can't do motherhood alone. And therefore, just from that fear, I latched on to the first guy who said hello pretty much. And my only criteria was that he didn't yell at me. He was soft-spoken enough, because my ex-husband before him, he had a really loud voice, which felt to me like I was always yelled at. And so I wanted someone, the next one, to not be yelling at me. But even though I had so much red flags because I was so scared of being alone, then so the fear just compounded into manifestations of toxicity in my relationship. And then when I let that go, I started to think about the timeline. When is the right one going to come along? Is he ever going to come along? And so I'm very familiar with this question. And so I'm going to, as for your kids as well, I want to congratulate you, especially for, being a brave and fearless mom, especially one of them, as you say, has more needs than the other one, because it takes a resilient, fearless mother, as well as a surrendering, fearless kind of mother, to nurture that kind of family dynamics. And my hats off to you, because I know that you would have days when you just want to pick up the car keys and you want to drive and run away from life, because it's just, sometimes it's tough, but you didn't do that and you are there. And I want you to know that you can think that for as many times as you need to pick up the keys and go and keys and go run away. That's okay. It's part of our coping mechanism, but it doesn't diminish your unconditional love for your children. And you must remember this unconditional love that you are giving to them. And this is for all moms out there who may be feeling, you know, lost and tired and exhausted right now. Remember that that unconditional love that you are giving to them, the source of that is inside of you. Therefore, you have it. You have the reserves. And our job tonight is to remind you how to access that unconditional self-love, that atomic self-love. So let's go and pull a card out for Stephanie. And for your surrendering, fearless kind of fearlessness is the first card. The divine femininity that is in you, always have been ever since you were born. Except it just gets more powerful as you become older because of your life experiences. And so alrighty, so your divine feminine fearless card, Steph, is wow. Lalita, the red goddess. Playfulness is a spiritual power. Laughter leads me back to the light. It's the playful goddess, Lalita. So I'll tell you a little bit about her in a second. But let us pull out a card for the resilient side of your fearlessness. And you have attack, pain, fear, judgment, and any form of separation are merely calls for help. Wow, this is so amazing. So this is exactly what I've just been talking about literally like 60 seconds ago. You know, as a mom, as a woman, in general, when we feel sometimes that we are so exhausted, that we are, it's tough, we want to run away, pick up those car keys, go somewhere, disappear, you know, any form of separation. It's a call for help. And it's a big lesson for me, especially because I had this curse. I had this thing that I found it so difficult to ask for help. I've become so fiercely independent because of my experience as an abandoned child. So when I was 6 years old, no, I was 5 years old, 5 or 6, and it's in the book that I've written, that story, if you want to check out the book. So one day my mother said to me, go get dressed, we're going to go and visit a relative, and we're going to go to your grandmother. And I was so excited, right? That's I believe that we were going for a visit. I got dressed in my one and only going out dress. And so I was hopping, skipping. I had, you know, joyful kind of feeling, joyful vibe. But as soon as we got there, I was told, you stay here, I'll come back for you this afternoon. And that afternoon, I vividly remember just waiting for hours for my parent to come back and get me. And there was a moment that day when the sun was setting down and I stared up the sky, and it was like, it was fading blue, and there was a hint of the bright sunlight that was just going away. And that weird kind of color, it struck me that I was never meant to be picked up, that I was never meant to go back to my to that parent, that I was left there, and I didn't know why. And the fear, and because of this fear, because of this abandonment, this rejection, just this shutdown, this pain, I've lost the ability to ask for help. I become so fiercely independent. And so that was a curse that I carried until I was an adult. And so I would just suffer from fatigue. I would suffer from exhaustion. I wouldn't ask for help. So I would just judge myself when I feel like life is so tough. And I'd start feeling shameful, guilty. And so all these kinds of things, there are merely calls for help. And combined with your surrender type of fearlessness, which is the red goddess, the goddess of playfulness, is that it's calling for you, Steph, to access that moment where nothing else matters but just the now. And this is a perfect moment to revisit the joy that your children can bring to you, especially the one that you've told me about, that he has higher needs than the other child. And I know this, our third child, me and my partner, he, he's a bit like that. He's very, very into the moment, very playful. And this card is really showing you that the way to that unconditional love to be filled, the way for your cup to be filled, is to just fill it with playfulness, so you can overflow again with your vibration, with your colorful vibration. This vibration is what's going to give you the power to attract someone. Now the question for you is, am I going to meet him soon? Now, the answer to the am I going to meet him soon, that power is completely up to you. It's really a question that you need to reframe for yourself. And the reframing should be something like this, like, do I want my my soulmate, my twin flame, do I want him soon? Is this the good time for me? Am I ready for him? And the question about am I ready for him is that's the readiness that you are ready to grow with him. You are ready to accept him for the imperfect person that he is going to be, because he is just going to be as imperfect as you are, as imperfect as your children, as imperfect as potentially his children, if he has children, as imperfect as the in-laws. And that's what happened to me. As I was telling you the story, for a while there, I was like, where is he? But I came to, I had a near-death experience, that allowed me to go deeper into myself. And the near-death experiences was in 2013. And then it really pushed me to the edge to really start working on me. And when I did that, I reached the year 2015, when I came to a life stage where I thought, you know what? It doesn't really matter when he comes, because I'm just having, I appreciate life now. I appreciate everything that I have yet to learn. And I really am enjoying myself for the self-discovery, for the self. I was just having so much fun by myself. For the first time, it was the stigma of being a single mother was turned right around. And on the next thing, it was like, wow, how good is it to be a single mom? You know what I mean? So it was a total paradigm shift. And when I had the total paradigm shift, that's when the one came to me. The vibration attracted him. And just when the least I expected him, he was like, poof, right there. and 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 that's what our relationship mostly as well right now. My partner and I have been together now for 5.5 years, and probably 80% of that relationship is a lot of playfulness. And sometimes we have to hide our playfulness from our teenagers, because we have 2 teenagers and sometimes they cringe, but we love that playfulness, right? Because it allows us to really get the best of each other. And don't get me wrong, life is stressful, especially with teenagers. But we connect to the playfulness, to the childlike quality of us, because we find that for both of us, it is where we have so much fun together. So Steph, for you, will you meet him soon? It's totally up to you. You've got to get your inner state in readiness, your atomic self in readiness. And that's the only job you have, is to get that in readiness, because that will attract that right person to you. And you don't need to be thinking about where is he, what does he look like, because he is already there. It's just that your job is to shorten that gap, to bridge that gap by being the totally joyful, playful you. And if you want to talk more about that, like I said, feel free to book in a free coaching for the next 3 days. It is fully open to anyone, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday coming, and the link is above. So I hope that's given you some insight. So ladies, if you've noticed, I really go deep into these card readings, because I feel that it's so important for us to get to know ourselves deeper, and not just have like a kind of pick out a card and this is what it's more about self-exploration for you. And if I fail to read a card for you tonight because of time constraint, I trust that the things that I've read for others have also given you a little bit of an insight, a little bit of, self-exploration, of contemplation for you. And so I'm going to move on now to the next one. And so after, no, let me just see, where was I? So I've got, so I said that I was going to go back to Sarah K. Let's just see if Sarah actually, so Sarah says that it's in the area of love. So Sarah wants Sarah K. No, actually was it Sarah? No, I've already read for Sarah. It was someone else. Let us, Keiki, is that how you pronounce that? Keiki Cullen. I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. I love it actually, Keiki Cullen. So may I please have some guidance around my relationship, health, and studies? Wow, you've got some big things happening for you. So I'd love to know, what are you studying? And what kind of relationship are you wanting to focus on at the moment? Is it intimate relationship, Keiki? And in terms of your health, what's been your concern around that? So we're specifically focusing today on how to become fearless. And so if you can give me a little bit of, if you're still here, Keiki, that was 23 minutes ago, give me a little bit of an indication about the health, the relationship, and so social work is what you're studying. Okay, cool. Wow. That is very noble. Social work is something that, when someone does social work, it's usually there's a lot of compassion there. And so I'm going to, so when it comes to social work, it's also sometimes, maybe often even, demanding on your health and demanding on your relationship. And it's also very demanding on even your me time. And so Keiki is saying to do with my hormones. Yeah. Oops, you've got two cards that just jumped out. So, ooh, Umoja, the goddess of all that flows. I am an ocean of creative energy. I give birth to what exists within me. So she is a mermaid, and she's all about buoyancy and light. And the other one is Saint Bridget, Our Lady of Exalted Light. I give endlessly because the light is without end. My soul is all I need. So it's the Lady of Exalted Light. Now let me pull out a resilient, fearless card for you. Stephanie says, some tears flow during my reading. Thank you for sharing your story. I appreciate it. You're welcome. That was my pleasure, Stephanie. And I'm glad that I've been able to give you a little bit of insight there for you to go to bed tonight with and just contemplate. Thinking of you, my love is with you. And yes, so this is for Keiki and her fearless card, fearless resilient card. Whew. I choose to learn through love. It's funny because love will test you. True love will test you, because the way that you can see true love is to unveil the surrounding coatings of it. So love, the true shining light inside of you, Keiki, sometimes can be coated with superficial stuff, and when I say superficial, not you personally superficial, but just the things that we as a civilization, as human beings have, created for ourselves, for our own comfort. It could be that what we value to be necessary, like cars, I don't know, houses, properties, wealth, investments, all this, true love will test you. And so, it's always like a sense of loss before it measures how much love you have. And so if this is resonating with you, when you're juggling so many things, studies, health, relationship, it's always going to test you as to, it's life is a balancing act. And when something is not so, is giving way, like if there is a weaker link between your studies, your health, and your relationship, then that weaker link is going to put you in a situation where you are going to question, how am I going to move forward? What do I use so I can stay fearless? And these cards are telling you that it's all about buoyancy, and it's all about flow. So there are two things that really make us achieve our dreams. It's the hustle and the flow. So the hustle is when you know what to do, the skills that you've learned. You know how to, I don't know, you know how to operate an Excel spreadsheet. You know how to negotiate with a lawyer. You know how to study for your thesis. So those are your hustle. You've learned those skills. But the flow is all about your intuition. And so this card is about intuition. You have to flow, you have to rise in buoyancy, and so that the density, the energy, the dense energy is released, and you just surface and you flow. And I need you to it's calling for you to have the need to spend some quiet time. And I feel that in amongst these three, there is one that's it's more important than the two. So whether it's the studies, whether it's the health with the concerns about your hormones, or whether it's your relationship, there is one that is calling your attention now for intuition, for love, for flow. and and when you focus your intuition, your love in that, and your light, your unending light, then it's the effect of it is going to bleed into the other two. So don't think that you are a superwoman who's always going to have the three of them in A game, in 100% A game. Pick one that's really most important to you, and focus your light on that. Focus your flow on that. And when you do that, your energy, your light energy, your flow energy is going to bleed into the other two, and you know exactly what to do. Your intuition will just guide you. So KK is saying your intuition is always spot on. So yeah, so this is the time to to really to pick one that is going to, so for example, if it's your health, then if it's coming out to be the health is the most important one, what are the three things that you can do in the next 3 days to enhance your health? What are the three practical things? Is it seeing someone to measure your actual your blood tests, or is it formatting a new routine for your physical movement? Or is it just getting more meditation time? Or is it the things that you need to let go in your diet? So you just pick three practical, because once you have a bit of flow in the one, then it will bleed into the other two, because that's what's really, it's very clear. Buoyancy and light, and being able to act from love. I hope that's given you some insight tonight. I'm going to pick just one last one. And I do apologize if I haven't gotten to everyone, but I hope to see you again next week at the same time on the Atomic Self-Love Project. And if you really, if you want to spend time with me, there's free coaching available for the next 3 days, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. The link is above this video. Feel free to book it in. And so I am going to now just pick one. Okay, interesting. So Rosana Ascone. So Rosana Ascone's question is, I am in the thread above. My particular question is, will the man with the letter P return on my life and stay? Okay. So Rosana with the man with the letter P return. Okay. Yep. I'm just getting some really strong energy there. Okay, so Perpetua, the saint of authenticity. I am my authentic self in all circumstances. The saint of authenticity. I am my authentic self in all circumstances. So your resilient fearless card is, I am the dreamer of my dream. Wow, that's very very loud and bold and strong. There's questions here that are necessary to be asked in your own private contemplation. So there are two parts to your question, Rosanna. Will he return? And if he does, will he stay? I'm getting a feeling he's going to return, but the stay part is really not, the stay part is up to you. Like, it's a decision that has to be made. It's not, so this card here, I am the dreamer of my dream. It's saying that you are a sovereign being, that you are in charge of your life. You always have been and always will be. Sometimes it's a hard pill to swallow, because the fact is that whatever had occurred in our past, it is part of our major part of our energy is the creator of that past. But the great thing about that is, our energy is also the creator of our future, of our present and our future. And that's so the return, the question about the return is that's something you cannot control. He will return when he's ready, if he's ready. But the question about, is the staying part a dream that you own? Is that something that really is the authentic you? Like, is being with him going to make you the authentic you and the highest version of you? And it's about digging deep into what is your highest version, because when you access your highest version, then you get to see your real dreams. You get to dream your own dream. It's not a dream that someone had, implanted in your imagination and created for you. Sometimes we can be so preconditioned by what people feel and think is ideal for us. Like, you should really live here because it's so nice. You should really pick a person who's like this and that because they're going to be good for you. That job is probably the best for you. Sometimes what we're doing unconsciously is all advice and opinions that we've collected from people that we love, people that we respect, people that we care about. And so we might wake up one day that our dreams that are unfolding in front of us were dreams that were created by other dreamers. And so the job here now is to go back to your authentic self, Rosanna, and ask the question, am I the dreamer of my dream? And to that effect, when this person is ready to return to you, if your energy attracts him back to you, is part of your dream him staying with you? And what does that look like? What are the surrounding notions and principles around that staying together? Is it going to be like what it was before? That dynamics, were you happy about that dynamic before? Or are there dynamics around that needs to be tweaked so that you can be your authentic self and he can also be his authentic self, so that both of you will have a union that's really there to stay? Because the stay part, I'm just getting that it's not, it's such a galvanized kind of word. that before you actually, galvanizing something, before you concretize something, there's got to be a mixture there, just the right amount of liquid and other yeah, ingredients in that concretizing, so that it can actually set and become a good solid foundation. So I hope that's giving you an insight as to the question of, is he gonna return and stay? And so ladies, I have come to the end of the Atomic Self Love Show, and I hope tonight has given you some insights. Feel free to check out my book if you'd like to get to know more about Become the Woman of Your Dreams and the memoir, and or have a conversation with me and have a free coaching call for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday this week. The calendar is above this video, and I have really enjoyed celebrating International Women's Day tonight with you. Again, it's a bummer that I can't get to everyone, but I'd love to see you again next week, 7:15 Australian Eastern Standard Time. There's some people here that are from the United States, and there's one from New Zealand, Carrie, and another one outside of Colorado as well. So I enjoyed having a one-way dialogue with you, ladies, and I look forward to the next one on 14th of March. I love you all and have a beautiful Sunday.